Okay, so this moment I never thought would ever happen is that I'm actually teaching people how to do hair at home. Please, when you can, leave this to professionals, but I'm gonna do my best to walk you through how to give a proper haircut. Alejandro inspired this because he decided to cut his own hair, and you can see this line here. So I'm gonna show you how to not create these lines in the hair, and I would say put a towel or sheet around them because they do not sit very well. At least in my experience, my husband does not like to sit very well and he doesn't like to get itchy. So cover them up. I'm gonna start with the number 4 guard. All right, so you're gonna start with the highest guard. If somebody has longer hair, you could even do a 5 or a 6 guard here if you wanna leave length. We are going to go straight up to the ceiling. We're never going to round it like this. If you round it, you're gonna make them look like a Q-tip. So the key to men's cutting is that you're gonna draw this line straight up to the sky. I'm not worrying about down here too much with the 4 because I'm gonna go shorter. Same thing through here. The head starts to round right here. You do not wanna go like this. So you're gonna go straight up and pretend you're drawing a line straight up to the ceiling like this. You do wanna press down or you will not take enough hair off. Straight up here. All right, so I'm going in the opposite direction of the hair this way because his hair grows forward. But again, I'm going straight up. Never rounding it like this. I'm gonna take my comb and make sure that all this hair up here is coming over. So it's gonna get a nicer blend. Comb it down and then push straight up. That is gonna help with blending the top. And here, I'm not pressing as hard. I'm drawing an imaginary line. I'm gonna move from a 4 to a 3. When I do the 3, I'm gonna stop around here and not come up into this longer area. Again, I'm going against the direction that the hair grows so I can get it nice and short in here. Applying a good amount of pressure, but not enough to push his head really hard. Okay, so I'm just going right around that middle, not going up too high this time. I'm gonna move down to a 2 guard. And then I'm gonna think about this area with the 2. So about 1.5 to 2 inches around, blending into what I just did. I always like to get the temples nice and tight because this area here is what grows out the fastest. Pushing the ear forward. I'm doing this C shape, so it's curving out now. And I'm gonna make sure that I'm going into where that 3 guard was so nothing is left too long. And sticking with the C shape. Okay, so now I'm using a 1 guard and I'm doing the same C shape. And I'm only coming up about 1 inch into my last section. This is when I'm using a little bit more of a gentle touch and just that C-shape motion, scooping it out a little bit so that I'm not putting any lines in the hair. Okay, so I'm just scooping it out. This is, Alejandro clearly did his own neckline. Do you see this? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna just come in here. I'm gonna be using the corners just to get close around the ear because that's the area that drives them crazy first, and the temples. Okay, and I would even go into the sideburns here and here. Okay, so trimmers, we always just want to hold the ear down and go in the opposite direction that the hair is growing. Now, if I really wanted to get it a little bit tighter in here, this is kind of advanced practice here, but you can use your comb and your trimmer. Same thing with the sideburns and their eyebrows. You can use your comb like this. A lot of times this hair gets really long, so you can push it back towards the ear and then towards the face like this. His isn't that long because clearly he got after it himself. Same thing on the temple area. You're gonna pull that forward, keep your comb there, take that off, and then I would even go back in and edge it up if you want to dare to do that. Brows are part of the haircut, so get those brows, okay? So just use your comb and your clipper. God, you could have a lot of fun with your significant other's brows right now. Okay, now for the hairline, since Alejandro did this beautiful job, I've got this to work with here. So I'm going to create a fake hairline starting with what he gave me. This should be interesting. It's gonna be almost up to his ears. So don't do this at home, please. I would not take a men's hair higher than his earlobes ever. It's not higher than your earlobes yet, honey, but it's close. Okay, so I've created that.
That was my texturing.
He textured it. It's got texture, that's for sure. So I'm gonna use this corner and this corner to connect the dots. I'm gonna tilt you over so they can see it. I'm gonna connect the dots, put that line in. Then I would actually go back in this with a 0 to blend it out a little bit more. So I can show you that. So in order for this to look a little bit softer, I would put a 0 on it, but this is gonna make it just a little bit softer. So it's not as blunt of a line. And that's the 0 guard. Okay, let me show you a couple things. If you are going to use a clipper on top, let me tell you about that before I get a shear. Okay, whenever you're using a clipper, if I was gonna use a longer guard here, I would never go here, ladies. Don't do this, or gentlemen. Do not round this with a guard or anything. Yeah, no. Okay, don't do that because they will. I'm like, when I say Q-tip, I literally mean like they start to look like a rounded Q-tip. Is there another word? I don't know. Okay,
an egg.
An egg. So if you're going to clipper the top, yeah, no egg heads around here or cone heads. Okay, you'd have to start back here with a longer guard. So maybe you use like a 7 through here. You will still want to pick this hair up and match it and cut it, or up off the top and do it that way. Okay? Do not lay your clipper down.
I want to see videos of people doing that.
Okay, this is I'm showing off a little bit right now. You guys can show off at home. All right, so you could use the clipper like this. Okay, and then I'm also gonna take it on the sides like this. Lift it up. Lift it up. Now I'm gonna show you with your shears what you would do. When you get the scissors, you're gonna need to do the exact same thing that you were thinking about with the clippers. Okay, so ladies or gents, you're going to point your fingers all the way up to the ceiling like this, and you're gonna cut that little bit off, okay?
Careful with the scissors.
Yes, be very careful. So you want to put your hands down, but your fingers want to be pointed to the ceiling and not like this. Don't cut like that. So you're going to pick it up, you're going to point your fingers to the ceiling, and you're going to cut that off. Okay. Now, if you don't want him to look like Dumb and Dumber, you do not want to cut a straight line here ever. Okay. Jim Carrey, we all know. Okay. You want to point cut, open and closing the shear a little bit like that. I know it seems a little advanced, but just whatever you do, don't cut straight lines. Okay. This area, this can be a little challenging area. You got to be careful because this is where the cowlicks go. So I'm going to cut straight up to the ceiling again, leaving length in the calyx so it can do whatever it wants. Now, I might pick it up here. Don't cut it like this. Then that'll be Dennis the Menace if you round it. So pick it up. Or alfalfa.
Alfalfa.
Didn't Dennis the Menace have some weird hair too?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm finding this. You can see I have a little bit of a line there. You guys might not see that at home, but I do. So my fingers are going straight up to the ceiling.
Oh,
What?
I think going straight down to the floor.
Or straight down to the floor. Yes, honey, however you see it. Now, if you had thinning shears, you could do that here. I'll show you that. Okay, now what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to connect the dots, but I'm leaving length in the center. Not doing too much rounding here. Lifting up. I know you guys are like, what is rounding? Rounding is anytime you put your hands like this and then cut on that circle. Men don't like a circle, they like a square. Most of the time, okay? All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of that over here. I already used the clippers over here, so there's not as much coming off. You wanna think about when you're, depending on, if they have a look like Alejandro where there's a little bit of length through the center, you wanna think about keeping your hands on this diagonal and cutting like a little bit of a triangle here, leaving length in the center. So I think this looks pretty good. I'm gonna pull it forward, check for any of these long pieces, okay? And then again, point cutting. He does not like this part right here. He likes that to be cut pretty short. I'm gonna leave it long because I like it long. And I know you ladies at home will do the same.
I'll cut it later.
Yeah, he'll cut it later, it's okay. Okay, now I'm going to show you the thinning shears real quick and we will be complete.
Who has thinning shears?
Some of them do. People are buying these right now. Thinning shears have these little teeth, so if you put a line in the head,
It's a comb scissor.
this is the way, a comb scissor, this is the way you will blend it out, is just picking the hair up and following the comb. And you can do some through the top. Okay. And then Alejandro is going to get an Awaken scalp facial after this, which if you are interested in scalp rejuvenation, which will prevent any future hair loss. So this little swirl is not going to get any bigger. We're going to keep treating it because the Awaken scalp facial blocks the DHT, which is the hormone that starts to break down its testosterone and the scientific, all that stuff around hair loss, okay? So that is your at-home cut. If you have any questions, you can message us at info@trinitysalon.com and we will support you in any way we can. You can also set up a virtual appointment with your hairstylist. What do you think, Alejandro?
I think it looks fantastic.
You
honey.
like your haircut, honey?
Yes, it looks good.
Okay, I think we covered everything. Be safe, be careful, and don't fight over it. It's just hair, it'll grow back.
And we'll fix it.
Yeah, we'll fix it when you're back. Awesome.